neighbor. Neighbors are people who are close to us, and friends are people who are close to our hearts. I like to think of you as my neighbor and my friend.
Good morning. Welcome to Horizon Unitarian Universalist Church. My name is Eileen Terrell. My pronouns are she, her, hers. I am serving as your worship associate this morning, and I am joined by our worship leader, the Reverend Chris Rothbauer, whose pronouns are they, them, theirs. We are excited to welcome you to our worship service this morning. We are glad to have you with us today, whether you're joining us in person or online, and whether you're here for the first time or whether you've been here for longer than you can remember. Here at Horizon, we welcome people of all faiths and of no faith in particular. Whoever you are, whomever you love, wherever you are on your journey, you are welcome among us. Please be our guest after the service for coffee and conversation in the fellowship hall. As a community, we also welcome the sharing of joys, sorrows, and concerns. You are welcome to fill out a joys and sorrows slip on the table near the Welcome Center, in the pockets of the chairs, and on the joys and sorrows table in the front of the sanctuary. Or you are welcome to light a candle. This can be done at any time before the service or in the service from the beginning throughout the offertory. Now, before we begin worship, we have a few announcements. I encourage you to read the inserts and the printed announcements on the right in your order of service. Would Beth Barger?
Hi. A quick reminder that today is the last day to take the congregational survey that was created by the governmental task force, governance task force. And you should have received an email earlier this week that has the reminder message and the link to the survey, or you can get to the link on the church's website. So many thanks to those of you who have completed it already, and a little nudge to those of you who might still take advantage of the opportunity today. Thank you.
And after today's potluck, Horizon's young adult group will hold a forum starting at 12:30, so plenty of time to eat and then go meet, in the portable to discuss the young adult group and event organization. All young adults are welcome.
Our call to worship this morning is from Gretchen Haley. In a world that feeds on moral outrage, we are here to cultivate moral courage. In a time that prizes picking sides, we gather to draw a wider circle. And in a culture that teaches us to get for what we give and to ask, what's in it for me? We come to practice generosity and to remember we're all in this together. In the midst of life's bitterness, we choose to sing, to give thanks, to laugh together, and to be keepers of beauty, to offer a place of belonging for all who come, in gladness and in pain, to resist the push to the next moment and the next, to slow down, to breathe more deeply, to feel a part of something greater. For this hour and in this space, let us be the change we wish to see. Come, let us worship together.
Our chalice lighting this morning is from Anastasia Birosh. As we light this flame of hope, may our congregation become a kaleidoscope of souls and people, an abstract, flame-like pattern in bright gold colors and a black background. In the presence of this flame, in me, in you, in us, is an invitation to sit at the table. May we tend our soul fire through these challenging and trying times to open the hearts and minds of all who enter our doors. And now, please join me in saying our affirmation, which is printed in the back of your order of service and projected on the screen. Love is the doctrine of our church. The quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge and freedom, to serve humanity in harmony with the earth. Thus do we covenant together. I invite you to rise in body or spirit and join us in singing our opening hymn, number 1023 in the Teal hymnal, Building Bridges.
Building bridges between our divisions, I reach out to you, will you reach out to me? With all of our voices and all of our visions, friends, we can make such sweet harmony. Building bridges between our divisions, I reach out to you, will you reach out to me? Will you reach out to me? With all of our voices and all of our visions, friends, we can make such sweet harmony. Bridges between our divisions, I reach out to you, will you reach out to you? Will you reach out to me? With all of our voices and all of our visions, friends, we can make such sweet harmony.
Horizon strives to serve our local community through many ways, and some of the ways are by bringing items for the different pantries and for women's shelter. Let me explain. Horizon donates to the Metrocrest Pantry for its clients. There is a little free pantry out in the parking lot, and right now the Women's Retreat Committee is collecting items for the Genesis Women's Shelter, if I'm not mistaken. Is that correct? Yes. And so I do need some help up here today, so I am going to call the young and young at heart forward. And if you happen to bring any donations, would you give that to a young person as they make their way forward? And if they could sit in the front chairs, I would appreciate that. Well, hello, everybody. It's really good to see you. First, we're going to be starting with a book, and then I'm going to be asking you for some ideas, all right? So the book I'm going to read to you today is called The Big Umbrella, and it is by Amy June Bates. And if you can't see, you can scooch over a little bit, but you can see the pictures behind me, too. By the front door, there is an umbrella. It is big. It's a big, friendly umbrella. Man, I should have asked one of you to read this. This is a good book. It likes to help. I like the little smile on the umbrella. I don't know about you. It likes to spread its arms wide. It loves to give shelter. And do you see what shelter is? It means it keeps the rain off of somebody, and other things too. It loves to gather people in. It doesn't matter if you're tall. I like the stripy legs on this picture. It doesn't, or hairy, doesn't matter if you're hairy. Kind of looks like an Ewok or something. Maybe a Bigfoot, I don't know. Or plaid. It doesn't matter how many legs you have. Yeah? There's a lot of legs under that umbrella. Some people worry that there won't be enough room under this umbrella. But the amazing thing is, there is. Okay, this is the part, I believe this is the end. Oh, well, there's this really nice picture in this book. The folks up front can see. So yeah, so I have okay, hang on, I'll get my prop out, just a minute. Oh, there we go, I can talk to you like this. No, I'll talk to you like this. So yeah, it's a pretty big umbrella. I want to ask you some questions though. How could I make this umbrella bigger so I can shelter other people? Like, what could I do? Do you have some ideas? Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, this is kind of like a dome, so I could stretch it out a little farther to cover more people. Can you think of anything else? Like, really use your imaginations. Does anyone in the seats have an idea? Okay, I was really kind of hoping somebody would say something like, well, you could put up a force field and you could like get more people and so you could do that too. Yeah, oh, and somebody says they don't know, and that's okay. Well, so I want to maybe, if I put this down, maybe the thing I was thinking of was that if I'm going to be including a lot more people, maybe it's just not the physical umbrella. Maybe I have to expand my mind and my heart to welcome more people under my umbrella. Really, I think only a couple of us could have fit under that, don't you think? But yeah. Yeah, see, exactly. Some people would be getting wet, they'd be left out. Right, right. Thank you so much. What's that? Oh, okay. I'll explain later. Yeah. Good, good. Well, anyway, so I think what our umbrella lesson is because umbrellas themselves, physically, can only do so much, but we are full of infinite possibilities, meaning we can think of different ways to include people in whatever we're doing, to give them shelter, to be friendly to them, and it involves expanding our minds and our hearts to others. So I really appreciate our story today, and let's go ahead and sing you out to your classes. Thank you so much.
May your mind be open to new learning. May your lips bring truth into the world. May your heart know love and your hands do the work of justice as you go your way in peace. As you go your way in peace.
And now we have two short videos from Minika Padakandla and Samir Awadi, who will speak to us about DRUM, the Diverse and Revolutionary Unitarian Universalist Multicultural Ministries.
Hello, everybody. This is Samir. Sorry I'm not there today, and I had to make a video as Dawn and I are attending a wedding in California. So today I'm going to talk about DRUM, which stands for Diverse and Revolutionary Unitarian Universalist Multicultural Ministries. I joined DRUM in October of last year, and it's an organization for Black, Indigenous, and people of color that are also Unitarian Universalists. So we call that BIPOC UUs. BIPOC meetings that I had attended had about 30 to 50 attendees at a time. Most of them were online. They have some that are in person. And DRUM is proof that a diverse Unitarian Universalism exists. More importantly, it is a front door for people new to the faith, and a spiritual home that nourishes and retains people of color in our liberal religious tradition. Themes of the meetings that I had attended are very diverse and include discussions on allies for racial equity, multiracial and families of color, etc. And one subgroup of DRUM that really mattered to me was the one that pertained to UUs from Southwest Asia, North Africa, and the Middle East. It was really nice to discuss Middle Eastern affairs with members that share my UU principles, but also from my geographical background. I found this to be refreshing, especially given that these people understood some of the some of the cultural subtleties that our part of the world has. I have also participated in other groups whereby members from the BIPOC community were able to discuss matters that matter to them, which include talking about daily life and also about how to increase UU membership with the BIPOC folks, etc. So I'm glad that I was able to join this group. I want to thank Manaka, who has invited me to join this group. And I just wanted to let you know how much I have enjoyed and how much this group means to me. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Hello, this is Menika here. I use she, her, or they, them pronouns. I'm sad that I'm not able to be there with you today, but I wanted to talk about our Share the Plate partner, DRUM. I found out about DRUM, Diverse and Revolutionary Unitarian Universalist Multicultural Ministries, in the spring of 2020, when there were so many online forums due to the pandemic. My first reaction to being in DRUM spaces was that I did not realize that there were so many people of color in Unitarian Universalism. In the last 4 years, I have participated in many DRUM spaces, including the biannual caucuses, DRUM Village at General Assembly, the AANHPI, or Asian American Native Hawaiian Pacific Islander Caucus, and in-person DRUM meetings, one of which we hosted at Horizon this year. The Asian American Native Hawaiian Pacific Islander Caucus is especially dear to me because I can be in a space with people that get me and can relate to my lived experience as a person of color and an Asian American in the United States. There is such comfort and safety in being with people who are like you. Being with UUs who are also people of color is an amazing feeling for me. If you self-identify as white, I hope you will consider joining UU Allies for Racial Equity, or ARE, to support the work alongside DRUM. Please contribute generously to support North America's oldest and largest UU People of Color ministry and community anti-racist organization, DRUM, our September Share the Plate partner. Thank you.
You've got a friend in me. You've got a friend in me. Just remember what your old pal said, son, you've got a friend in me. Yeah, you've got a friend in me. You've got a friend in me. You've got a friend in me. If you've got troubles, then I got him too. There isn't anything I wouldn't do for you. If we stick together, we could see it through. 'Cause you've got a friend in me. Yeah, you've got a friend in me. Now some other folks might be a little bit smarter than I am, bigger and stronger too, maybe, but none of them will ever love you the way I do. Just me and you, boy. And as the years go by, our friendship will never die. You're gonna see it's our destiny. You've got a friend in me. You've got a friend in me. You're gonna see it's our destiny. You've got a friend in me. You've got a friend in me. You've got a friend in me. A friend in me.
And this morning's reading is from the Christian scriptures from the book of Hebrews, chapter 13, verse 2. Do not neglect to show hospitality to strangers, for by doing that, some have entertained angels without knowing it.
What if there is a mystery shopper for your life? When I worked in retail, one of the customer service videos we watched was on how to spot a shoplifter. You see, profiling is a problem in the loss prevention business, and we were told that many companies were facing hefty fines and lawsuits for accusing people of stealing merchandise based solely on appearance. We often hear about this when it comes to racial profiling, but profiling happened in other ways too. You see, the stereotype was that the shoplifter looked poor, or in other words, were dressed in shabby, cheap-looking, maybe even old clothes, looking unkempt in their personal hygiene. At their worst, some people would even assume that people were stealing based on their age. I was there once. But I have so many stories I could tell of selling thousands of dollars worth of computer equipment and furniture to eccentric millionaires who simply chose not to dress in a way that flaunted their wealth. And though I never encountered it myself, I heard stories of people being rudely ignored by salespeople and choosing not to do business altogether based on how they were treated. The old cliche, you can't judge a book by its cover, is more true than I might have realized before my brief foray into office supplies. What's more, the actual shoplifters realize this. And they often dress in ways that won't draw attention, often wearing expensive-looking suits dresses, and jewelry to avoid being singled out, making it easier to steal merchandise without being detected. So while some employees were busy assuming worst intentions for eccentric millionaires, the actual thieves were busy boldly taking whatever they wanted without much fear of being caught. The message was clear. The way a person looks will not determine how they behave in a public setting. And though I use the eccentric millionaire as an example, I have met unhoused people I would trust with my wallet before some millionaires. Despite what viral videos on YouTube and TikTok, and in the increased presence of uniformed loss prevention staff, security guard, and off-duty police officers in stores may imply, we were taught that the best way to deter potential shoplifters is to offer good customer service, to offer every person in our store assistance and genuinely ask about their needs. What brought them to our business that day? The thinking is that the increased attention will make thieves feel uncomfortable, and it will delight customers by having a good in-store shopping experience. In this way, everyone wins. Well, except for the shoplifters. I was thinking about these old training videos as I was preparing to write this sermon, and what strikes me is that what corporations call good customer service is really just the core of good hospitality. What I was learning was much deeper than how many digital cameras and computers would be stolen from a multi-million-dollar company, but whether we were treating customers not just as nameless drones we were there to serve, but individuals with their own thoughts, emotions, dreams, and needs. Some may say that this isn't a good example since there is a hope for exchange of money at the end of the day, and in some ways they would be right. And yeah, sometimes I don't think we should do what Office Depot thinks is best. After all, they wanted us to give good customer service, sell all this merchandise, and make sure all the stock was stocked by the end of our shift. But hear me out. In my early 20s, I honestly could have cared less how much money I made for Office Depot. I wasn't loyal to the company, and I didn't get paid on commission. So there was no incentive for me to pressure sell anything to anyone. In fact, my coworkers and I were not shy about referring to people to other electronic stores when we knew they had something that would better meet the customer's needs. Many people told us this is why they bought from us, because unlike some stores of the time, they didn't feel they had to make a pressure before we let them out the door. Desperate for a cut of the sale so we could make our rent. And there's some truth to this as well. I am drawn to people who make me feel welcome, like they want to be around me because they see me, not because they want something from me. I want to be places where I'm made to feel welcome. Now, I hope you've realized it's not just retail shops looking to take some of your money either where this applies. So many religious and philosophical codes emphasize this kind of hospitality. My own path of Druidry, for example, emphasizes the virtue of hospitality, acting as both a gracious host and guest, a recognition that I may need to be a guest in the future to people for whom I offer the gift of hospitality. On my path, there's a sense of reciprocity, of honoring the gifts I receive by offering back what I can, even if, in that moment, all I have to give is my gratitude. As Eleanor Roosevelt put it, true hospitality consists of giving the best of yourself to your guests. I think the Christian scriptures say it even better in the book of Hebrews when the anonymous author declares, "Do not neglect to show hospitality to strangers, for by doing so, some have entertained angels without knowing it." What's interesting here is that the hospitality to strangers part is all one word in the original Greek, philoxenia, meaning the Greeks had a term specifically for gracious acts towards newcomers in their lives. I never am ceased to be amazed by the Greek language. What's more, this sort of gracious welcome was open not just to people like the host, but to people of all backgrounds and social causes. You can't earn or buy philoxenia. It's everyone's birthright as an inherently worthy human. Now, a confession, the Christians borrowed this word from the ancient Greeks because of course they did. And to fail to show philoxenia in ancient Greek culture was a serious thing. In fact, in Homer's Iliad, the Trojan Wars start because a guest of the Spartan king Menelaus abducts the king's wife Helen. That guest who abducted the king's wife was a bad guest and didn't show hospitality. Hospitality was such serious stuff it could cause wars. I think it's a testament to how much times have changed that this seems surprising to so many people. And the reason wasn't completely altruistic either. There are times when people need one another. A society that isolates itself, where people are unable to find help from one another, is one that fosters hate, division, and suspicion. We need to be able to trust one another, because without such trust, we're destined to live lives of war. Maybe not wars between nations, although that does still happen, but sometimes wars between individuals too, that might only be seen on the micro level. Welcoming people into our lives and being good guests when we're welcomed is more than simply good manners. It's a way to foster trust, build community, and transform the world. But maybe it's also a testament to how much times are changed that many, including me, find yourselves asking, but what about ... when we hear about such radical hospitality as a virtue. In a world where violent crime is paraded constantly in online news and many people really don't feel safe for very good reason, can we find a way to revive the ancient virtue to entertain strangers as angels? And from strangers to angels, let us join in our doxology. You'll find the words on screen. now take time to honor the sorrows and joys of this community, knowing that we're all interconnected and what affects one affects us all. Kristen Cummings shares, "It was so wonderful to see such a big group from Horizon at Feed My Starving Children last night." Marianne and Tora share a joy. "Our partners Blaze and Allison got to attend service for our first choir performance. Due to living situation, they can't always attend." Carolyn McClung shares a sorrow. Her husband Bruce fell last Thursday night and broke his hip. He was operated on Friday. He'll go to rehab in a few days and then to I'm having trouble with those words. Oh, physical therapy, sorry. Keep him in your thoughts. Marty and Ed Keller share a sorrow. Their daughter-in-law died Friday. Please keep their family in your thoughts. And Alex Jacobson shares a sorrow at the loss of his grandmother Irene. It was a joy, though, for her reaching age 107 and finally being at peace with her late husband. And we light a candle this morning to honor all the joys and sorrows which have gone unspoken and reside only in our hearts. Please join me in the spirit of prayer or meditation in whatever way feels right with these words from David White. After the reading, we'll have a space of silence, which will be broken by our responsive hymn, number 1058 in the Teal hymnal, "Be Ours a Religion." I pray for you, world, to come and find me, to see me and recognize me and beckon me out, to call me even when I lose the ability to call on you who have searched so long for me. I pray to understand the stranger inside me who will emerge in the end, to take your gift. I pray for the world to find me in its own wise way. I pray to be wanted and needed by those I have learned to love and those I must learn to love. I pray to be wanted and needed by those I cannot recognize in my self-imposed aloneness. And I pray to be wanted and needed by those I wish to be wanted by. But I acknowledge the power of your beautiful disguise, and I ask for the patient heart of all things to understand the abiding fear I feel in following your unknown ways, in my fear of receiving, in my fear of taking your hand, in my fear of following your hidden, difficult, and forever beckoning way. Blessed be.
Be ours a religion sunshine goes everywhere. Its temple, all space. Its shrine, the good heart. Its creed, all truth. Its ritual works of love.
And our second reading, Red Brocade by Naomi Shihab Nye. The Arabs used to say, when a stranger appears at your door, feed him for 3 days before asking who he is, where he's from, where he's headed. That way, he'll have strength enough to answer. Or by then, you'll be such good friends, you don't care. Let's go back to that. Rice? Pine nuts? Here, take the red brocade pillow. My child will sell water to your horse. No, I was not busy when you came. I was not preparing to be busy. That's the armor everyone puts on to pretend they had a purpose in the world. I refuse to be claimed. Your plate is waiting. We will snip fresh mint into your tea.
All God's scooters got a place in the choir. Some sing low and some sing higher. Some sing out loud on the telephone wires. Some just clap their hands or paws or anything they got now. Listen to the bass, it's the one on the bottom where the bullfrog croaks and the hippopotamus moans and groans with a big to-do. The bull cow just goes moo. The dogs and the cats, they take up the middle while the honeybee hums and the cricket fiddles. The donkey brays and the pony neighs. Old coyote howls. All God's critters got a place in the choir. Some sing low and some sing higher. Some sing out loud on the telephone wires. Some just clap their hands or paws or anything they got now. Listen to the top where the little birds sing on the melodies with the high notes ringing. The hoot owl hollers over everything. The jaybird disagrees. Singing in the nighttime, singing in the day. The little duck quacks, then he's on his way. The possum ain't got much to say. The porcupine talks to himself. All God's critters got a place in the choir. Some sing low and some sing higher. Some sing out loud on the telephone wire. Some just clap their hands or paws or anything they got now. It's a simple song of living sung everywhere by the ox and the fox and the grizzly bear, the grumpy alligator and the hawk above, the sly raccoon and the turtle dove. All God's critters got a place in the choir. Some sing low and some sing higher. Some sing out loud on the telephone wire. Some just clap their hands or paws or anything they got now.
Now, if you're keeping score, yes, I've preached on hospitality before, but I've never preached on how to show hospitality, especially in a world that often misunderstanding giving of yourself as requiring even up to your own destruction to do. In my teens, the last church I was part of was a Word of Faith church, one that believed if you simply had enough faith, God will provide you whatever you need. As such, we were told to give money to various causes, even if it meant giving up the last bit of money we had, because God would take care of our faithfulness and reward us tenfold. And if he didn't, well, it was our fault for not having enough faith. The converse was that if you didn't give up what you needed, even what you needed to survive, maybe money to pay rent or bills or buy food, You were not obeying God. Time and time again, I watched people follow this ethic and suddenly not have enough money to survive. The faithful would find ways to rationalize their sudden poverty, but it didn't change the fact that the church often left people without what they needed. Now, it's easy to just say that this is an attitude of fundamentalist religion, but I'm going to say it's not confined to fundamentalist religion. See, there's a pervasive stereotype that in order to live the kind of hospitality we're talking about this morning, you must uncritically offer everyone everything at every time with a full sense of trust that the person also wants to do you good. It's so widespread that I have found that as a minister, people will project these attitudes onto me as a moral imperative. There have been times when I've needed to say no to people, and I've received hostility back, because how could I as a minister say no? Very easily, actually. In one case, I even had a person ask what kind of minister I was, that I wouldn't give him what he wanted, which was essentially to hang out at the church and ask everyone there for as much money as they could give him. I feel like this reduces hospitality to an imperative to be Santa Claus, rather than showing a true sense of hospitality, leaving aside questions of what the duty to show this sort of graciousness towards people really means. Here's the thing. The cultures I've talked about this morning are ancient ones that had a very different way of life than we do today, and a very different moral code. I'm not naive enough to think that we can simply take these codes and paste them over top of our modern world and expect them to work. That is the mistake of fundamentalist religion. I'm not asking you to just trust that everyone in the world has your best interests in mind, because they don't. I'm sorry if that's news. But there are people who will take advantage of you. No, I want to encourage you to show hospitality, but I also want you to use your instincts and judgment. I wouldn't allow a serial killer or a known thief to be my new roommate, and I don't think this discretion is a violation of philoxenia, since the ancient ways require one to be a good guest as well, and I don't quite fancy how a serial killer or a thief would be as a guest. People who don't uphold their part of the equation aren't showing hospitality themselves. What this sort of hospitality means is opening myself up to other people, offering what I can while observing my own boundaries. What this means for me is that I'll offer food, water, shelter, and money as I'm able, but only as I'm able, because I need to be able to survive as well, and two of us failing isn't the meaning of hospitality. I'm not a masochist, so I generally won't take on another person's suffering, since that does no good for either of us. Though there are exceptions, I would probably do a lot to prevent harm from coming to a loved one or vulnerable people such as children. See, for me, the act of hospitality is more than just redistributing my resources to other people, because that's how we keep unjust systems in place, by assuming that all of this is an individual problem. But when I'm able to express such generosity, there are often systemic issues at play that make it difficult to think that my actions can be anything more than a very temporary bandage over a much larger problem. Part of living hospitably for me is using my presence in the world to make it a better place for everyone, even when that means setting some boundaries with people. It also means living it by the way I live, the way I speak truth to power, and the way I advocate and build beloved community. And there, for me, is the key to how to invite a stranger in a culture that doesn't always value such hospitality. By living in such a way that my life, no matter how much or how little I have, opens possibility for everyone to thrive in a world where so many don't have what they need. This requires more than a bit of compassion and wisdom, as well as a willingness to be in dialogue with one another about what those words actually even mean, since everyone has different needs depending on their life situation. For me, this means living as if I'm my own mystery shopper, and asking myself if the actions I'm taking are helping others and making the world a better place. And this isn't a multiple choice question I can give easy answers to, because it requires me to be honest with myself. And if you're anything like me, I think I'm the person I have the most problem being honest with. Here's what I can say. We live in a society where so many people feel alienated, where folks go without the food, water, shelter, clothes, and medicine they need on a nightly basis, even while others have abundance so much they could wipe out the national debt. Where there are kids who don't get what they need, and they're not always easy to pick out. They don't dress so that we can recognize them. There may even be people in this room who fit that criteria, and none of us may know it. Which is part of why this church created a ministerial discretionary fund, so they don't have to raise their hand and say it if they need emergency help. But even that is limited, and that means none of us can do everything. No one person or even group can change the world. But we can do what we're able to do with our individual lots in life. And that may mean extending a sense of well wishes to everyone we meet with the hope that none will suffer, offering what the Buddhists call metta, a selfless hope that all people, even those who harm us in their words, deeds, and actions, would be freed from suffering. Because embedded in the idea of this sort of hospitality I've been talking about today is a recognition, in Emma Lazarus's words, that none of us are free until all of us are free. But Buddhists recognize that metta is not cheap. It's not the type of thing that you can simply sit there in your seats this morning and think, I love these people in front of me and everything's okay. The purpose of metta isn't to just make you feel better. It's to push you into the world to do what you can. Because I truly believe that each of us can do something, even if it's shaking the hand of a newcomer who came this morning. Will you invite the stranger? I hope it will be so.
We extinguish this flame, but not our commitment to welcome radically, love boldly, grow spiritually, and serve courageously. This we do because we envision a beloved community filled with compassion, helping all to thrive in a just world. I would like to invite you to rise in body or spirit and join us in singing our closing hymn, number 121 in the gray hymnal, We'll Build a Land.
We'll build a land where we bind up the broken. We'll build a land where the captives go free, where the oil of gladness dissolves all mourning. Oh, we'll build a promised land that can be. Come build a land where cousins and siblings, anointed by love, may then create peace, where justice shall roll down like waters, and peace like an ever-flowing stream. We'll build a land where we bring the good tidings to all the afflicted and all those who mourn, and we'll give them garlands instead of ashes. Oh, we'll build a land where peace is born. Come build a world where families and neighbors, united by love, may then create peace, where justice shall roll down like waters, and peace like an ever-flowing stream. We'll be a land building up ancient cities, raising up devastations from old, restoring ruins of generations. Oh, we'll build a land of people so bold. Come build a world where families and neighbors, united by love, may then create peace, where justice shall roll down like waters, and peace like an ever-flowing stream. Come build a land where the mantles of praises resound from spirits once faint and once weak, where like oaks of righteousness stand her people. Oh, come build the land, my people we seek. Come build a world where families and neighbors, united by love, may then create peace, where justice shall roll down like waters, and peace like an ever-flowing stream.
Our benediction is by Frederick E. Gillis. May the love that overcomes all differences, that heals all wounds, that puts to flight all fears, that reconciles all who are separated, be in us and among us, now and always. Amen. Blessed be, and go in peace.